the pure number of people who showed up this morning really has shown that so many of us are concerned about what we like to call workforce, affordable housing in Baldwin County. And so it is an extension of our programming that we have, and we're excited to share our vision. And it is just a vision right now, because we have a long way to go, but we have a committed committee. And tonight I ask all of my property development committee members to please stand, as well as everybody up here is on that committee. Now others in the group, thank you all so much. Jim and Lisa, you're going to get to hear from others up here. We've been planning this, I would say, since 2022 when we acquired this property. So it's exciting to come to this visioning part of our process. Today we are going to go quickly. We're hoping to use your time efficiently and stay to about an hour so that everybody can go on and do their busy work and the business that we do. We have Charlotte, our lovely Charlotte, my assistant at Family Promise, is going to take us to the next slide. And we decided to do a panel today. We really want this to be a conversation, so we want you to feel comfortable to ask questions too. But today we're going to go over just a couple very simple things. We are going to be talking about what Family Promise is, if you don't know already, what our plan is and what this vision is to address workforce affordable housing in Baldwin County. And then we're going to ask for partnership, and that's why we invited you here today. So appreciate you again, and I'm going to invite Darren, our pastor from Fairhope United Methodist Church, to just share a little bit about Family Promise. That'll be great, Darren, if you can run up there. And he's going to open us with a prayer today. But Darren has been a champion of transitional housing in our community already. So that's why we invited him.
Friends, good morning. Ben, thank you for the invitation to be here with such a faithful and enthusiastic group of folks who come with a certain passion and vision. I was honored for the invitation just to come and be with you. As Beth mentioned, friends and community constituents and partners have been part of the connection of the Baldwin Family Village for the last couple of years. And the reason that I'm here to celebrate is not just a promotion for the Baldwin Family Village, but because we share the same vision in part. We wear two hats. One with the Baldwin Family Village, but also as the senior pastor at Fairhope UMC, in which we have been engaged in the ministry of Family Promise for the last 18 years in our congregation. And so having to be able to see the scope and the breadth of the need within the community, I came to this congregation 5 years ago, and I've been on this journey of discovery ever since with the help of our missions friends and others who have their hands and feet on the pulse of the need within our own community. We're about to celebrate the first anniversary of Baldwin Family Village, and in that year we have served 70 individuals. We've graduated 34 women and children into affordable and realistic housing. When you look at the statistics in your own pamphlet of all about Family Promise, this has been engagement that has been taking shape over a long arc of faithfulness and time, and the impact of that endeavor continues to flourish in ways that multiply. Some people are deeply moved by statistics, and for those of you with that part of your brain that fires you up, then go for it. And all of that data is there. Others of you, myself, a little more storytellers, and I'll just tell you one that is my favorite because it translates. And no matter what the venue of transitional housing, when you're engaged with good people who can roll up their sleeves and figure out how to do this is a fixable problem. This is one of the things that we can do in the engagement of our life together. We had a young woman who came to our congregation, the parking lot of the church one Saturday, and it just so happened that we had a couple people on staff who were cleaning up from a wedding. Otherwise, we may have missed her. She came, she was escaping a domestic abuse situation. She had a young daughter that was with her. And we did, in the limitation of the church, what we might always do, and maybe what your church would have done too, is sit with them and say, okay, what can we do immediately? Well, we put her in a hotel for a couple of days, which is a great Band-Aid, but does nothing to transform the life skills and the equipment that are necessary for flourishing down the road. So we did what we've always done in the church, which is put them in a hotel for 2 days and then watch the preacher and the mission director go in their back hallway and beat their heads up against the wall because there's no other resources of accommodation for what that would be. As I've said to many folks across Baldwin County, we have this story in our faith tradition that is rooted in this young mother who is seeking solace for her child and her husband has no room in the inn. right? Well, our issue in Baldwin County is not just that we don't have room in the inn, it's that we don't have the inn. And so what Beth is working on, what this team is working on, is creating space not just in the inn, but the inn itself. And that to me is incredibly powerful and transformational. So we put this young lady in a hotel room for a couple of days, and this will happen with Family Promise or Baldwin County Village, whatever the scope of the transitional housing. But on Monday, we were able to call and get her an application for transitional housing. On Wednesday, we were able to run through all the background checks and do the necessary things to get them vetted and accessible in the life of that space. On Thursday, we were able to move her in to this transitional housing. And on Friday, she gave birth to her second child. Now, when I think about where that child might have been born, without the investment of a physical space, it grasps. That's for all the people who don't get inspired by numbers, right? Because we know that every single number represents a story. Every single person represents a soul. Every single individual representing a child whom God loves and cares for. And it is our opportunity to be the kind of neighbors that we say we want to be. Right? We'll get together in our worship houses and we'll talk about love of neighbor. This is an opportunity to put flesh on that desire, to make it more than just words, more than just talk, to engage that with action. And so I'm very honored for the invitation and thankful, and would just like to offer prayer. Merciful God, thank you that you love us all. Thank you that you see us all. That there's not a single one of us in this world that you have not cared for, loved, and invested in. That you see us with passion. And so we ask your mercies today as we attempt to figure out what it is to be the neighbor, to love the neighbor, to exercise that for the sake of common mission and vision. For all the things that bring us in differences in this world. Lord, we thankful for this moment that we can come together for a common purpose. Bless those who have engaged in this vision. Bless those who will partner along the way. Let your work in the world be revealed, we pray.
What is Family Promise? And I'm going to let Robert Monk, who is one of our coordinators at one of our congregations, Darren's church is one of them. We have 14 churches around Baldwin County that convert their Sunday school classrooms into little hotel rooms. We have a couple right here in Robertsdale, including Robertsdale Church of Christ. And we have Eric Gray, who's lovely wife, Ellie, who help us with the coordinator. So Robert, if you can go over our sort of programs and what we want and our transitional housing, you can start touching on it.
Thank you. When I think about Family Promise, a couple of sentences come to mind, but Family Promise is a program. It's a nonprofit ministry dedicated to serving homeless children. And when you think about that for a minute, homeless children, and the program is dedicated to serving that segment of our society. But the program that our church, St. Andrew by the Sea, is involved in is the Interfaith Network. And those are the families who actually spend the night and are fed in our churches. And we have a network of those churches across the county. In that network, we provide, like I say, food and shelter and love and nurturing. Our challenge there and our goal is to nurture our families while we can. Another basic program is the diversion program. That's a program that takes people who are have lost their housing, their homes, but are in a position where with a little assistance through the Family Promise programs can move into regular housing. So and you'll see the numbers on those in a minute. The prevention program is a program that actually identifies folks who are on the verge of losing their homes and steps in and provides assistance so that the children do not have to leave their homes. They're able to keep them in their homes. And then, of course, the transitional housing is the piece where once they're in one of these programs, as we all know, and you'll hear some numbers later, it's really difficult to go from not having any money and being just homeless into paying all the fees associated with moving into an apartment or a rental property of some form of fashion. So that transitional housing, which is today's popular, is going to be, it's so critical into this recovery process. One quick story I guess I'd like to share. Like I said, we are my wife and I are the coordinators for our church, and we're involved with our guest families who spend the week in our church. And as we share meals and get to know the people in the course of the week, and then usually towards the end of the week, we often have single mom or a dad, and as we're sitting around following the meal, or sometimes they'll look at us with tears in their eyes and express their appreciation for Family Promise, for our church, and for all the churches. And, you say, what is Family Promise? To me, that is Family Promise. That when the people that you're serving have that kind of appreciation and show that kind of emotion, that it's just something that it's there. It makes you want to do more.
Robert, and the one thing I will say, what gives me such a warm heart is I think about the children that we serve in our programs, and as they grow up in our community for decades to come, they're going to be driving by these churches that they slept in with their families. They were safe, they were loved on, they were nourished, and that just warms my heart because that reminds me that these children, when their family was going through this traumatic event, when they lost their home, that they are in fact being loved on by their community, by their parent community. So I will close with that on our current programs. And the one thing I will say is we have 2 transitional houses currently, and you'll see them on the map in a little while when Chad is talking. But if you look at our impact over the years, I mean, these are big numbers, but we are celebrating our 18th year of serving families here in Baldwin County. Our vision is that we won't have any homeless families in Baldwin County, and that is what we hope to strive for, but we are here to support those who are falling on these difficult times. And so I think there might be one other slide on numbers, or did you show it already?
I did show it.
This was last year, so we had 42 unique families that we served, 98 children, and 189 individuals. And so those are numbers that our impact has been growing as our programs grow. And we are hoping, and you're going to see in our vision, that we're going to grow this, our transitional housing to not just 2 homes, but up to 17 homes in the full vision, maybe not all at once. That seems like a lot. But it is my pleasure to introduce our next person, and that's Andrea Stilton. Did I say it first? Shilston, put an extra as page in it. And Andrea has been on our committee, and I came to know Andrea through her work with Baldwin Realtors and their Affordable Housing Committee, and especially during the pandemic and Hurricane Sally. So, Andrea, thank you.
Thank you, Beth. So my first introduction with Family Promise was about 10 years ago from school members at St. Paul's Physical Church in Foley. And that congregation was bringing in Family Promise families on a periodic basis for 2 weeks. And so at that time, I had 2 young children, now teenagers. But I thought it was very important for us to serve those families. And so not only providing meals in the evening, but also entertaining the children that were there with our own. Having time to talk to the adults and just kind of being an ear. So they really put a mark, indelible part on my heart. And fast forward to 2020, not only during the pandemic, but about a month before I took over as the board of realtors president, Hurricane Sally hit. We were very fortunate to have some great leaders in our home realtors, not only the staff, but also our leadership, and we quickly got a year and applied for grants through the National Association of Realtors. And in a short period of time, we received $300,000 that we could distribute to families, individuals in need. And that was it was distributed for either a mortgage payment or the deposits for housing for people for rent, because we knew immediately as soon as that application started coming in, not only were houses were destroyed, but then if they were in a rental house, their landlord did not have a place for them to go. And so it was scrambled, and it was talking with Beth and like, what are your options? So it was just eye-opening that the need in Baldwin County is here. We look around and we see all these numbers and, houses appreciating 20%, 30% over the last few years. Well, that also translates into rental rates. So just a few little things I know Beth has up here, so some information from HUD. So 2023 average fair market rent for a 3-2 is just over $1,500. 2024 is just over $1,600. I can tell you Baldwin County as of yesterday, the 3-bedroom, 2-baths on our rental market through the MLS was actually only 26 properties. The average rent was $2,115 with a median, a median of almost just at $1,975, so just under $2,000. So that's the whole county. That's not just specific to the beach. So just a reminder that the need is here, and there's actually only 6 properties of $1,700 or less for rent. So I think our goal as a realtor and as a community is not only everybody to have a roof over their head, but to keep them in their own home if that's where they are at this time, and keep them in a safe home. We saw so many photos and of evidence of very poorly damaged homes or not kept up, and there were kids and there were adults with needs that were not in a safe space. So thank you, Bailey Promise, for being here.
Well, appreciate that, Kendra. And I will say this, we also put up here the average home cost, not at the beach, not buying a condo for residents, but $390,000. So I can't translate what that looks like in mortgage.
No, and that's actually, I looked through the last 12 months, and it's continuous going up. I mean, from just in central Baldwin County, which you think is probably one of the most affordable areas in Baldwin County, it went up 18% between 2022 and 2023. Actually, our average throughout like the rolling 12 months, majority of the months was over $400,000. So that's just a snapshot from last month, from March of 2024. But if you look at the whole 12-month period, it's right at or above $400,000.
So the dream of owning a home for a family that maybe is making $20 an hour, $18 an hour, maybe both parents working, is becoming less and less realistic. I will have to say this, in all of the years that I've been a part of a family promise family, I was the director in Montgomery for 11 years prior to moving to Baldwin County. Last year was the first year we had a family graduate our program and buy a home. And they bought a home in Bay Minette and for $190,000, and that was pretty amazing. We have another family in our transitional house right now getting ready to buy a home. Also, that's part of their goal while we're in our program. Yes, they were homeless, they were living in a hotel, trying to get ahead, never able to get ahead. So they were referred to us through our schools. They have 5 beautiful children, and they are now getting ready to, they'll probably be with us another 6 to 8 months, but so they'll need close to a year to work through those credit repairs and to work with first-time home buyer, down payment assistance, and all of those things. But But again, where are they gonna find a home when this is our average? So we're gonna go into why transitional housing. And so, our families that are in our transitional housing actually pay a fee, a program fee. We don't call it rent, because we are asking them to work on certain things while they're with us. And they have up to 2 years to be in the transitional housing program. And each family is unique and different. And we might have a family that says, my goal is to pay off this, payday loan, save $5,000, maybe buy a vehicle that is more reliable, whatever those goals are. And then we have those families who want to buy a home. And so we are looking at, hopefully, as we build the transitional housing that Chad's going to talk about more specifically next, we are hoping that 25% of those families will become first-time home buyers. So let me stop because I know my 5 minutes is over, and I want to introduce Chad Watkins. Chad has, very early on when I started sharing this dream and this vision, Andrea said, you need to talk to Chad Watkins. So Chad is a master at helping to put a vision to paper and giving us some great images. And I know you all have some of them in front of you. So Chad, thank you for being here and being a part of our team.
Master is an overstatement. I'm the best in my family. I'm audible because this seems wireless, and I walk up here, and I'm going to use my laser pointer that's broken and speak to this master plan from up here. Is everybody still okay? Okay, good. It's more fun when you move around. So this is the site. It's in Summerdale, County Road 36. And I'm going to do a lot of this, and you guys are going to nod when I talk about shapes and things that are noted on the site. But the current administration building is the white sideways U-shaped building for you to get your bearings. Does that help everybody kind of get us going? So north is to the left. We do that so that everybody gets a headache when they're looking at plans and aren't turning north. So we have headache medicine on your way out the door. You don't have to pay for it. And that's the joke. Those come free with the presentation. So just because they're free, just kind of laugh a little. My wife won't, so I'm just asking y'all to. Thank you very much. The current driveway, just I kind of like to walk people through the project. It's the best way that I perceive it, because I'm not smart enough to do it another way. So there's a current driveway that's in the middle of the larger parcel, which is almost 8 acres. And we're moving that over so you can see there's a road that will go back and kind of create a back loop. And the way the project is set up is kind of 2 zones. There's a southern zone, this is the admin part of the project, and the northern zone is the housing part of the project. You notice when you come in and take a left, there's parking, and that large red L-shaped square is the proposed day center. That's about an 11,000 square foot allocation. We'll talk more about it in just a minute on the next slide. The next part of the property is resident parking. You see that's a large laydown area. You can use for other outdoor things, but that's primarily parking. A walkway to that black line in between is a fence. The back part of the housing will be fenced and secured. We'll talk more about that later. Moving into the housing part of the project, and you see the loop road connects all the way around. There's some guest parking in a couple of areas along the road, but you see 10 red squares. Those are the cottage units that are consideration as the main housing. You move back, you see a gray square, it's got some red on it. That's where you need to make sure you pay attention and go, what is that? You call it, you get a price going out for that too, with your headache medicine. But that is, there's one housing unit there now that may go away and become 5 more. There's an opportunity for 5 more housing units. You see those are dash lines. When we dash things, we're undecided. Not really, but it's future phase. That's what that is. You see 3 other units and 1 white little unit on the upper left part of the page, which would be northeast. The white is the tiny home RV, tiny home / RV pad that's there now. There's an opportunity for 3 others. Those are used They've been used during the storm. We can talk about what the storms are, but we've had those around here. The words we do not utter. And then the northernmost and sheet left part of the property is a barn, and all that is aligned on a center quarter green space. See, the other dashed areas are 2 opportunities for playgrounds, one within the housing area and one up in the administrative area that connects back over to, this connects back through to the admin and the current other that I missed, long white rectangle, which is the existing house. The new day center. I mentioned earlier, it's about an 11,000 square foot footprint, and in that allocation, there'll be a kitchen, a conference and classroom space, a multi-purpose space, a dedicated office space, a resource center, hosting room, showers, and laundry facilities. So, an expansion of administrative facilities on the site. The next slide, please, ma'am. If the day center is kind of the cake for this plan, the infrastructure is sort of a cake stand. And did you know that there's no fancy word for cake stand in, like, and I was going to come up with a fancy word for what a cake stand is, there isn't. So, nothing impressive with it there. I did look it up though, so I'll get an A for effort. Infrastructure is a cake stand. You don't break a cake, you have to cut it with a knife and you have to hold it up. So that's all the stuff we pay for that we don't appreciate as much. Clearing the land, roads and parking, utilities, security, fencing, the security measures on this through the fencing, but also I think that there was mention of some armed attack drones. And good, you're all listening, you're still there. That's not true. It's things we can't tell you about because then it wouldn't be security. We told you everything was there. Next slide, please, ma'am. The barn in the back, it's red unless you have a huge donation. You want it to be in the color, then you can pick the color. But that's mainly equipment storage. When you got an 8-acre site, obviously there's a lot to maintain on that project. So a property like that, equipment storage, furniture, ministry storage, bed bug treatment, and that's like a hospital for bed bugs so that they can be treated when they're sick. First time I read that, back to myself, I totally laughed. I thought, that's comedy gold right there, but that's not what it is. But I want to share it, so there you go. And then there's a room for guest storage, room units for room there. And the next slide. There we go. So now for the icing on the cake, as it were. There's a couple opportunities for playgrounds. This was a vision for one inside the housing part, the housing area, the cottage area. Playground, a pavilion for shade, with some picnic tables, half-court basketball. And also, there's this new thing you may have heard of. It's called pickleball. They're thinking it might catch on, so we're going to make provision for that if none of you have heard of it. So, pickleball. I remember 5 years ago having clients go, hey, there's this new thing called pickleball. Why is everybody doing pickleball? Here we are, right? We should agree to be the United States of pickleball now. Next slide, please, ma'am. And then the other icing are community features. And housing and what we have to have in this project to make it work are housing units and ways to support that. But the things that make us feel like home, like community, just like your homes, just like I would say just like mine, but I'm like a plumber with leaky pipes and leaky roofs. So if you know where I live, you know it's not that great yet. But here we will have the things that make it feel like home: walkways and paths, sidewalks, the bus stop to get folks to and from work, and then the landscape will work with and do native habitat where we have planting areas and lawns for kids to play and open areas, and then the secure parking with lawn runs and things that we talk about. So that's kind of the general overview of the master plan. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Dave. He's going to talk about a little more specifically about.
Thanks, Ken. So to continue that analogy, I think it's going to talk a little bit more about the weed and the cake paths, and maybe build more of those in going through to the end. So one of the things we really consider here, because there's not a lot of incentive to build affordable, realistic housing out there right now, otherwise it would be here. What we're considering is factory-built housing. I've been around that industry for a long time, and I want to talk a little bit about what that is, what it is, okay? And really what we're talking about is looking at modular manufactured housing. Initially, we were looking at modular. Modular is built with the same code in the site-built home, built in the factory. Okay, one of the things you're taking advantage of is really factory efficiency. Okay, just like a car built, you wouldn't build your car in the driveway. There's some efficiencies that come with building in the factory. Precision and consistency. And you built the jigs on day, things like that. There's a lot of space, and so that's a big factor in ways. That's a big issue here. There's a controlled environment aspect as well, so you're not exposing the house to weather, which can be dangerous around here from time to time, for months at a time. Actually, it's built in a controlled environment. There's some cost savings, obviously, with that, as well as one of the things you can be doing is doing site development work while the homes are being built in the factory. So there's a lot of reasons why we're looking at that. Again, modulars are built to the same code as a site built and be built in the same factory as a manufactured home. Manufactured are built to a national lead code. Okay, so really the main difference with that you can see between manufactured homes would be the specifications that are listed. You can have a very low-end manufactured home, you can have a very high-end manufactured home. And it really depends on what you want to do with that home. Okay? I work with an organization that develops specifications for manufactured homes that you can use site-built homes as comps for those houses. There's no other manufacturing built in that. So things have gone a long way since the grandfathers mobile homes. There hasn't been a mobile home built since 1976. Okay, so getting right back to the specifications, whether you manufacture modular, you're using all grade A materials, whether that's lumber or siding or appliances. It's everything that you would recognize in your homes. Built strong. I like to say that modular manufacturing to take them down highway and where one. They're built pretty strong in and of itself. And modulars are lifted off with a crane, so you get very little cracking in the drywall with that, so you know that they're built up and strong. With in terms of the work that we don't mention, modulars you can build roll fork modules like we have at home again here, done that as well. On the manufacturer side, they don't have a spec for that 4 or 5 yet, but we just build to its own height, and that's required for that purpose. Again, another specification that's important for longevity and appreciation of the house is the foundation. So we would build a permanent foundation, whether that's modular or manufactured. That, again, it helps create longevity, but also creates, not in this case, because of myself, but ultimately it would create affordability long term because people can buy those little houses on permanent foundations to those specifications with traditional finance. That's one of the things that traditionally manufactured housing loses some affordability and some raising value, really, because they're limited in the amount of financing that's there. So if you make these specifications to the point where people can actually get traditional finances, it becomes much more affordable for you to get to traditional finances. Easy maintenance. We're talking about building with all sheetrock paving texture because they can have they'll be boring. Again, things that are going to be easy maintenance for your staff to maintain, and not having to get into some high cost repair walls, talking about style next week. There's lots of siding options, party board vinyl and smart siding, so lots of different options with that. energy efficiency, that's important, and it's not just about appliances. These homes can all be energy star rated as well. So, you know, it's not just the initial cost that we're talking about, it's cost of operation, and that's important to design real estate. So with proper specifications that I've already indicated, these houses can be affordable and appreciated over time. Again, real estate is all about location, let's say, but it's all about specifications. For projects
I just want to say one thing. Thank you, Dave, for talking about this. We got very excited about a product that we recently saw at a manufactured housing expo in Biloxi. And it is this, it's called Smart Cottage. And it is built by Oak Creek, I always forget that, out of Fort Worth, Texas. And they're building these and putting them on the coast of Texas. So we're excited about exploring this because we really like the price point of this when we compare it to modular housing. And I'm just really excited. Now, Clayton Homes in 2021 donated to Family Promise of Baldwin County a single wide, if you can remember the picture that Chad had up there with our current administrative building recommended a long narrow that we call our Promise Home. They donated it to us and they told us that the electric bill would be about $100 a month. I didn't believe it because all of my experience of helping people with electric bills and utility bills who live in manufactured housing, language, we're paying $300 a month in the summer for their electric bill. So I didn't believe it, but I am proud to say and happy to say that I think the most expensive bill Charlotte knows is probably better than I do is $109 one summer. So we're pretty amazed at how efficient these houses are. But thank you. And now it's time to pass on to Luke. Luke is also a board member and our vice chair of our board, and he is a commercial lender. So Luke's going to talk about the feasibility and sustainability of why we want to do this.
Thank you. So Chad and they painted a really pretty picture, and Chad probably knows a banker usually sells project pretty quick. But in this case, it's totally different. This project is robust. Okay, Chad put a preliminary budget for us together on what it would cost to fully develop this project, and it's a big. It's maybe $10 million range. Community buying, community support. Beth and I ran a budget on the sustainability of the project. I mentioned earlier about program fees and so forth. This project can stand on its own, program fee and all that, but it can't be done if Family Promises haven't paid a community support. So through community support, partners, grants, that's how this project is going to continue. And so basically, I guess it's my job here to ask that option from each of you to support this project, this transition to homeownership. I've got a preliminary budget. I don't think for this meeting to go through, but again, it's doable.
So one of our plans, and like I said, we purchased this property in 2022, just so you know. We do not have a mortgage on it. We did have a small mortgage when we first purchased it, and our board made a decision, $125,000 mortgage we had on it. We purchased the property for $270,000. And in 3 months afterwards, the board made a decision to pay off that mortgage. So we were able to do that. So we owned it free and clear. It had 130, 60-foot tall pine trees, and they were beautiful, but they had to go for the vision. And Pastor Eric Gray right here spent many hours out on a piece of equipment that I think is called a skid steer, moving around these treetops. Somebody did take all of the trees But we have a bunch of treetops that we're still cleaning up, and I don't think Toby Hall is here. I invited him, but we've been burning them. We're gonna carry some off this Saturday. We have a team of volunteers coming from Anchor Point Church, who come out for a service day, and they're bringing their equipment, and we're gonna get rid of those, but, we own the property free and clear. The thing that we don't like to talk about, like Chad talked about, but I am gonna say it, Hurricane Sally. One thing that has come to our community, this year is CDBG-DR funding, Community Block Development Grant, Disaster Recovery Funding. We are hoping to be included in Baldwin County Commission's plan for helping us to develop this affordable housing, because the allowable activities are affordable housing for low to moderate income families in Baldwin County. We didn't talk about this earlier, but the average or the median income for Baldwin County, or AMI, is $93,000. So that's the median income for individuals in Baldwin County. Now, many of us sitting in this room might say, "Oh, I don't quite make that," but that is who we are. And so when we look at the families that we can serve, they have to be at 50% AMI or less. And AMI varies depending on the number of people in your family. So if you have 2 children or you have 5 children, it extends you a little bit more. And that is who Family Promise serves. That's who we serve in our shelter program. That's who we serve in our prevention program. That's who we serve in our diversion program. So that is who we give. So the funding that the county is receiving, we are hoping to be included in that. We want to be shovel ready, and that's why our committee keeps working. So that could be wonderful. But even so, the county might not have $8 to $10 million to give us. So if the barn is estimated to cost $300,000, but I have somebody like Mike Sledge who says, "I'll donate the concrete for the base. I can't do the contracting for the concrete, but I can donate the product." Well, for anybody in this room who's done anything with concrete lately, we all know how expensive that is. $200, whatever. However you measure concrete. But for somebody to say that to us is amazing. You know, we could have, somebody else, another commercial builder said, "I'm going to try to get the barn structure donated to you all." You know, I mean, the people that we buy metal buildings from, 15 of them a year from them, I'm going to see if they'll donate one. How awesome is that? So thinking in those terms, people who do clearing and who do stump grinding, can you donate? Coming out and getting rid of 10 stumps for us, whatever it is, who can help? The dumpster guy, very nice man, just donated a dumpster to us clearing this week. We have volunteers coming out and just saying, "We're happy to donate that," and then come pick it up. All of those type of things, are we looking for that buy-in? So I want to stay on track here. So, and I guess we are staying on track. So we have some beautiful images that Chad and his team have helped to put together. Think about, I know we have an interior design person in the room today. When we think about furnishing these homes, how do we do it with items that are cleanable, sturdy, putting together a package of what that could look like, helping us to develop what that could look like. Master gardeners, helping us to create some of these small garden spaces that have edible fruit trees, edible herbs, all these other things, so we have it. We're looking for people who are painters. We're looking for people who are plumbers. When we go to build this commercial building, our day center, we're talking, I think the estimate was like $1.3 million. Can we trim that down with people giving to us at their cost some of the materials that we're going to need for that? All of those type of things that we have a nice list, and we are going to be capturing each one of you before you leave today. I have a wonderful board of directors who I didn't introduce at the beginning. But can I ask my board members to please stand? Here, I have a couple of them up here. You have Lisa and Carol and Garfield and Terry and Luke. You all know that already. So they're going to be some of the people grabbing some blue cards and trying to engage you. We're here to answer questions, and we want to do that now. But we're looking, and even today, as you're thinking about who should have been here today to learn about this, please make sure you engage them. And then let's have an opportunity to talk to me or any of us on our committee. Do you already have a relationship with one of us? We really appreciate that. But we are looking for, I'm just going to go through the list. We're looking for financial pledges. You know, who would like to help fund this with us? And maybe it's not somebody here in the room, but maybe somebody you know who has a heart for the community. We're going to need some engineering. And what do you call those things? Engineer plans that we're going to need. Chad's going to help us represent us at the county for our planned unit development. That is going to be necessary for us to do this. We're not doing just a subdivision, we're doing a planned unit development that allows us to do multi-functioning things on that property. We might need an architect to help us to design our day center. We have a wish list of what the space needs to have, but who would like to maybe help us to do that? Clearing the land, we talk about that a lot because that's been my life for the last 2 years. And my husband mows that property, coming out and donating his time to do that. We're gonna need to do road construction, culverts, parking lot, the landscaping. Do you want to serve on our committee? Have you experienced being a developer yourself or done a big project like this? Ben, as a social worker, hasn't done this ever before in my life. Maybe I've worked on a remodel of a part of my house or an addition, but that's about it. I'm definitely at my wheelhouse. So we need people who know what they're doing. Drainage, you know, we have a great culvert that the county maintains, or spillway that goes down under County Road 36. You know, we're gonna need to make sure our property gets drained properly. Roofing, sewer. Lisa, are you here for Walton County Sewer? Thank you, Lisa. We haven't met personally, so thank you for being here. Our intention is to be tied into the sewer and to city water, trying to make these homes again easier to maintain. I think that's the way to do it. The price tag is expensive. Chad, that's the part that surprised me in your estimated budget that you did for us. Electrical, plumbing, HVAC, flooring, drywall, sheetrock, helping us with the barn. Concrete contractors. Again, we might have a concrete product donated, but we need somebody who knows how to set forms. Playground design. You know, our desire is to have, you know, not just a playground, but one of my neighbors built a half-court basketball court with a pickleball court, and all I had to do is put the net up to play pickleball. I'm like, oh, that sounds like a fun way to do that. But designing those things, maybe some covered pavilion. Thank you, team, for passing those out. Security, fencing, internet. We're going to try to figure out if we can do community-wide internet, Wi-Fi. I mean, I know some of our towns have that. Why can't our little community have that? IT support. So if you are somebody who knows all that, believe me, we struggle enough with our day-to-day work with IT. If you want to help us with that, we love that. Painting, appliances. If anybody, you know, knows the man who owns Benson's appliance, you know, what can we do to get appliances? We're going to need washers and dryers in our day center. We're going to need a refrigerator. We need all those type of things. Furniture, you know, I know that we've been blessed by Maloof Furniture for the past couple of years, always helping us with those things, but we need to come up with ones that are really durable. I like ones that are easy to clean and sanitize. Construction cleaning, just being a part of our cleanup teams. You know, we have our churches that have been so wonderful coming out on service days and helping us, and we always have a list. We have Baldwin ENC coming out on Friday, Anchor Point Church coming out on Saturday. And our list is long, there's always things that we need help with. You know, I also think about, you know, who can just help us as we're developing programming. You know, if you've heard of another program that does this well someplace, share those ideas with us. So, just really excited. I know our board have passed out these blue cards. We're asking everybody, to just put your name down there, your contact information, what you might be able to do. And even if it's not set in stone, because we will not get to this for another 2 years. Or, you know, this is our vision. We need to now figure out how we're going to fund it. But it could be as soon as 6 months from now that we can launch this. And we're going to need help. And we understand that any commitment that you might make today, you might not be able to fulfill that if your situation is different in the future. But we always need your prayers and your support. And again, who else do we need to talk to that might not be here today? But I want to pause and see if there's any questions about how we're going to
The timeline, so is it 2 years? Do you have a timeline at all, or?
So, in your brochure that you picked up on your way in, we did a strategic plan of 3 to 5 years. And we just finished that last year. So our goal is to have this done within 5 years. If we should be so blessed to be a part of the county's plan, they have $24 million to build affordable housing with Hurricane Sally disaster recovery money. If we could be so fortunate to receive a part of that, we could start that quickly. Yes, Brandon?
And about that, Louis invited me to talk to the county council members of your district and raise this to them and say, this is a worthwhile thing that you could do. Let me encourage you as a constituent to think about using some of the funds in that way. So talk to your elected representatives about this grant possibility.
Absolutely.
Have you already started the conversation with the county about possibly using those funds?
Absolutely, they are tired of hearing. I'm just advocating for our project. I'm also advocating, we need senior citizen affordable housing. Because, I don't know if you all know this, but we have a couple, probably about 6 senior citizen affordable housing projects in Baldwin County. Their waiting lists are ridiculously long. And so people who are on fixed incomes, they just can't go out and start a little side hustle to make an extra $800. I surely don't want my parents in their 80s having to do that. And so if we are a caring community, we need to care about that community. We also have a need for disabled housing. So I'm encouraging our county to do this. As many of you know, if you're a part of a chamber of commerce, all 5 chambers in Baldwin County have identified workforce housing as one of their number 1 or number 2 issues that they see affecting their workforce. And if we could be a part of the family housing, that's great. OLA has already constructed for singles their workforce housing project in Foley, right near Wolf Bay Lodge and the market there. And that's pretty amazing that they're going to be able to house individuals. If we could be a part of that as families, isn't that awesome? And we as a community and as a county, as we grow and our needs grow, we think about, you know, the families we serve. We have a mom who's in our program as a nurse. Okay? We've got a mom that's in our program that cleans at the hospital. You know, we have a mom in our program that, you know, works at a restaurant. One of the favorite restaurants of one of my staff, you know, they don't want to go there. And so, you know, we think about, you know, our favorite restaurants that don't have enough people to work. We think about who's going to care for us as we age in this community, and we need people to help us. Where are those people going to live and work? You know, I love listening to Lee Lawson with the Baldwin County Economic Alliance, and he talks about work participation. Everybody wants to live in this bubble. You know, south, you know, Foley, and out to Fairhope, and out, everybody wants to live there, but we have a 15% work participation rate. That means we have a lot of wealthy, older people living in this area. But where are the people who need to take care of them, who need to serve us, who need to care for us? Where are they going to live? And so as we, you know, grow that area, maybe up to the middle of the county, maybe up to I-10, so that we have more of a work participation. The younger people, people who have families, where can they live? I would love to see this be what we call a demonstration project. So here we have, Chad's helped us to design a place for 15 extra houses, and we have our current day center for about $3,000. We're gonna have to convert it into housing for 2 families. So it's not really smart office space because we're all on top of each other, and it's cozy, it's like a house, because it is a house. It was a duplex, so we're gonna convert those back. And so think about, could we do this on another 7 acres in Robertsdale? Can we do this on another 7 acres in Silver Hill? Can we do this in Loxley? Where else can we do this? And could this be an example that could be duplicated? And any work that we've done, we will share that. And it doesn't have to be Family Promise doing all of this. Who else has a heart for this and wants to do this in our community? Now, of course, we're focused on families with children, and that is our mission, and we won't stray from that. But we have a need for single people. We have a need for couples. We have a need for senior citizens. So, as we go forward. And that's a long answer. Any other questions? Anybody think we're crazy?
I know you have the slideshow available and also video filming this. How do we, some of these people, they take it for committees and that sort of thing?
Sure. Well, I always make myself available because I love to talk again, figure that out. Love to talk about Family Promise. But Austin here has been very generous to videotape us this morning. He's our videographer. Thank you, Austin. And he's going to hopefully put together some little snippets and some focused pieces of this. Please, the easiest thing you can do to support us is follow us on Facebook and Instagram. I wish I could tell you I'm better at LinkedIn, I'm not. But if you could, follow us on social media. And then my business cards are out front. Please feel free, use my cell phone, it's the best way to reach me. I'm happy to help, carry this conversation. We're gonna need good ambassadors to help us make this a reality. Yes?
This might be a dumb question, but is this something that can be done in phases? Like one house at a time or all at one time?
Very good question. So the most important thing we can do is get some housing going. So infrastructure is first, and so that has to be part of phase 1. I would say the housing is next phase 2. I want the barn to be phase 1 because we need storage. We need a place to keep our equipment, and we need to do that. The day center, as much of it's a dream, that can happen as the last phase. But we have the placeholders for these. And it's really a pretty simple master plan, but yeah, we absolutely could do that. Yeah, thank you. What I am learning is there's a lot of money for affordable housing in grants. There's a lot of money. Publix supports, they have their own grant for public house for affordable housing. Wells Fargo Foundation, and we're talking big dollars. So can we tap into that? Who likes to write grants? Can you help us with that? Thank you, appreciate that. I didn't put that on the list, so where it says other, please put, she already wrote it, I love it. Beautiful, God is good, thank you, I appreciate that. Any other questions? Yes.
It bears repeating what Beth Lou said, and that is that once this project is completed, it is sustainable financially. That we're not going to be coming back and asking for additional money for the ongoing maintenance and ongoing operations.
Absolutely, and included in our business plan includes some of the money to pay for a staff person to be a facility manager, to live on site. We're going to be looking for somebody who is comfortable collecting program fees, so that my case managers who are true family advocates aren't having to be a part of the financial exchange each month. But also, and they're there to help them to plan to make sure they can make that payment, not to be able to collect that. We also want to have somebody who maybe can help with minor maintenance, so that we don't have to call experts every time the toilet is running, or, let's see, what was it this past month? The hot water heater. And, God bless my husband, it's probably spent a day and a half trying to figure out, and for a $24 fix, we fixed it, but instead of having to have those people coming out constantly, by somebody who has a little knowledge base, who maybe wants to live in their RV on one of our RV pads, rent-free as a part of their salary, we would still pay them, but could they be there? And so then that could be somebody from one of our congregations that we all could be thinking about. Who could that be in the future? You know, somebody who can mow our lawn, hop on a really cool zero-turn mower that I got on it for an hour and a half the other day and really enjoyed it. And my husband usually does that, but he was teaching one of our dads in our program just yesterday how to mow the lawn, and he's happy to do that. He said, I'll do that on Saturday for you. So engaging our community members who are going to be living in that community. Our vision for this community is that we will have community meals on Tuesday nights in our New Day Center, where we will have a meal, we'll have childcare, we'll do continued education. Like I said, everything from first-time home buyer, financial education, credit repair, starting your own little side hustle business, any of those education programming, we'll be able to do that over a meal and provide childcare. And educate the children while they're there too. So that even when families graduate, they can come back to us and they can be like, this is where we find support. And we can continue to come to Tuesday night meals. And
You may have said this already, I'm sorry. What is the total acreage of the land?
when we combine our current piece, which is in that lower left corner, the new shape, it's all 8 acres. 8 acres from, combined. Exactly. And I can't say enough about the product that I'm very excited about. This one is a manufactured housing, that smart cottage. It's cozy, it's 1,200 square feet, a little over 1,200 square feet, front porch, creating community with front porches all facing each other. My dear friends Bob and Vicki live in a community like that. Cottage on the Greens. You know, it's a beautiful vision with green space in the center, gardens, people sitting on their porches, being community, which that might be a dream in this world. Although I have to say, since we moved to Baldwin County, we know our neighbors. People are friendly. When we lived in Montgomery, we knew like this person and that person, and that was it. So, but we love the community sense, and that's what we want to build in this. Any other questions? And we're here, available to answer those, and look forward to having continued conversations with you all. Thank you for coming this morning. Thank you.